Welcome to the She's a 10 Times 5 show with hosts Lori Jabbar and Michelle Emick. We're bringing public figures, subject matter experts, and other accomplished guests to the Studio 50 table to serve you up the best tips, tricks, and key takeaways that all us midlifers want to know about. Okay, time to join us for some Times 5 fun. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome to She's a 10 Times 5 Ziquad. I have to do it every time. I'm sorry. It's just my thing. It's just my thing. Okay, we have a very, very exciting quad today and guest. But first, I've got my co-host and partner in crime, who is also, oh, by the way, editor-in-chief of Ask Us Beauty magazine. We got Michelle Emick. Hey, Michelle.
Hey there. So happy to be here.
Yeah. You're not singing anymore.
Oh, sorry. Hello.
Hello.
Yo.
Okay. And we've got, we had a hurricane that hit. Well, it wasn't really a hurricane. It was more like a tropical storm, but it hit Southern California. I'm hoping Jennifer is going to pop in. Maybe she's buried behind some leaves. I don't know. But our resident stand-up comic and co-host, hopefully she'll pop in. But right now she's in cyberspace. And our special guest today is Chi.
Yes.
Chi of N.Y.A dating and love consulting. Did I say that right? Did I massacre that?
It's all right. It's N.Y.A love and dating services.
Okay, thank you. It's my thing. I also massacre the introductions every time.
Yes,
every time.
It's everybody.
It's my shtick. And N.Y.A stands for Not Your Average, which I dig. I think that's so great. It's a great moniker. And we are going to talk all about love and finding love. And I kind of want to dial into finding maybe a second chance love for us kind of midlifers. So let's get rolling. And what would be really great is before we hit record, you talked about how you kind of got into this business. It started at a young age. You had a knack for it. And then you saw the movie Hitch and it inspired you. So kind of walk us through that, because I think that's fascinating when you have the skill that you have.
Thank you. So I've always loved seeing people together. Always. Since I was a little girl, like I loved all the Disney movies and I would always like cry and tear up at the love scenes. I was that girl. And when I was in elementary school, I would match people all the time. There was this game, I think it's called MASH.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And and one of my friends was really good at designing the little origami. I wish I had one. I need to actually get one made so I can like.
Yes, remember it was like, wasn't it like mansion, apartment,
shack house? Yeah. Okay, wait. I don't mean to derail this, but I have to tell you this. It's so funny. Like we used to do MASH, and there is a restaurant around the corner from us. Like it's an old school deli type of scenario, and they have paper, like just paper covering the tables, and they give out crayons so the kids can color and whatnot. And me and my boys, they'll kill me if they know I'm telling you guys this. We would play MASH over and over. So I love that.
I love it too. I was obsessed, actually. I played a little bit too much. Like I couldn't focus in school sometimes. I still graduated, so great. But still, I was really hyper focused on MASH. And then I was like, why do I enjoy this so much? And then in middle school, people started coming to me for advice. Middle school was kind of the coming to age. The hormones were going crazy. And I would just advise people like, yeah, you should say yes to him. He seems like a really nice guy. Or why don't you go to prom with them? I think we will have fun. And it just kept working. And people would come back to me and say, oh my gosh, Chiama, I'm so glad you gave me this advice. It worked. I'm like, yes. And I would gush, be so happy for them. And then it translated into high school. And I was dating a lot too. And that was fun. I learned a lot about myself and a lot about other people. And I was like, oh, I do this and I'm good at it. And then college. And then from college, things got really real. I relocated to Maryland and I was finding myself. I learned a lot about who I am. I lost my virginity in college. It was an exciting time. But I kept finding people that just came to me for advice. People would just start telling me their life stories, and it always ended up with us talking about sex, love, dating. And I was like, you know what? This is my calling. In 2019, I had my heart broken. And I started wondering who has felt this way before, because I was on that path of like, fuck love. I'm never doing this again. How dare I give my heart and soul to someone just for them to crush it? And I was really like bitter. I'm not even going to lie. But after healing and taking some time to reflect, I realized there's so much love out there in the world. I'm not going to limit myself to this one love that ended. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my own matchmaking company. And around that time, I had just seen Hitch not too long ago, and it just resonated with me. So I Googled matchmakers in my area and saw no one that looked like me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the first. And so I did. I went to the Matchmaking Institute based out of Manhattan, and I had to go to school and do courses for this. There was homework assignments. And at the end, you had to present your idea of a matchmaking company. And if the matchmaker that you are presenting to, and it's usually someone who's been in the game for 5-10 years, approves and says, yep, we agree with your idea, your vision, let's do this, then only then can you graduate and get certified. So it's a whole course. It took me over a year, but here I am. And I'm so grateful that I took that first step. And even though I launched in 2020 with the pandemic, right, like literally a week and a half after I announced I was becoming a matchmaker, and everybody thought I was crazy because I left a really comfy job in real estate to do matchmaking, but it's the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Yeah. I had no idea that you actually had to get certification to
You
do
don't have to.
matchmaking.
Some people just do it. I wanted to get certified so I can tell my clients I'm certified. I like being certified. It feels better because anyone can say, oh, I introduced these two people, but I actually had to take courses for it. I'm not knocking anyone who's not certified. Do you? But as for me and my business, we're certified over here.
Yeah, I love it.
And by getting certified, does it give you more like an easier path to find? Like, how do you find people? How do you find people that are looking for love?
Yeah, well, being certified for me just gave me additional information, for one. And then I have a really big pool of matchmakers because the Matchmaking Institute has a whole Facebook group dedicated to matchmakers all over the globe. So if you're looking for someone who wants to date, maybe I like if you have a client that says, I like a British accent, maybe you might start looking in London. There's matchmakers in London that you can connect to because of the Matchmaking Institute. So I'm really grateful for them for creating that. As far as how I find people, everywhere, girl, everywhere. There is no limit to where I've gone to find a match for someone, whether I'm in the line getting ice cream, pumping gas, grocery store, at the gym. That's a big one. That is a big one. I always have to wait until they're like putting down the dumbbells or like not breathing and huffing and puffing, but I'll approach them. I'm not shy. So I'll approach anyone, anytime, any place, if I feel that you could be a good fit for my client. Since I am based in Seattle, COVID actually forced me to open up my business nationwide, and it literally grew like this. Because in a time where everybody was being told to stay apart, I was trying so hard to bring people together. And it ended up working in my favor. So a lot of people were going through it in COVID, but I was thriving because I decided to start this matchmaking business. I left my comfy job, and it's been like the best decision I've ever made. But I was scared. It was really hard at first. I was like,
yeah, sure.
You know,
and so if you see someone, you're like, okay, I'm going to go up to that person and say, hey,
yes.
Are you single? Are you looking for love?
Are you legally?
So, okay, I have a really, so here's what's so ironic about this, Chi, and I told this to Michelle and Jennifer. I was at a girls' night, and I have a couple of single friends, newly single. They've gone through acrimonious divorces, and they are looking for love, and it is very daunting and hard. The whole dating app scenario, like, can you walk through that versus matchmaking, and do you kind of combine both? Because that is a beast in a hairball.
It is. Okay, so I do an add-on service for people, well, add-on or package. There's some people like, you know what, Chi, you're great, but honestly, it's just not in my budget right now. That's okay. Something for everybody. I try to work with everyone, and I don't want to turn you away if you're genuine in your search to find love. So I started a dating app package where I become you. You pay me to have a photographer take pictures of you. We go through the outfits. I have a celebrity stylist who will walk you through everything. Like, this color looks great on you. You should do this. You should do that. I have a makeup artist that will come to wherever you're at and just do makeup for you so you can end up looking and feeling your very best. I want you to feel sexy, beautiful, and alive. And for men, I'll have a barber come to your house so you don't have to go anywhere and just give you that 5-star service, because I want everyone to feel confident and sexy in front of the camera. And then we're going to work on what you're saying in your dating apps. Some people don't say the right things, or they're putting their worst foot forward, and that's making you look really not approachable, and too many pictures that don't really appeal to who you are. So I walk through their dating app profile from start to finish. That's one option that people can do if they don't want to get the matchmaking.
That's a big option, because I'm sure there's a lot of people on, you're like, listen, you know, you like, you can't be putting a photo on there with, you know, your cats and dogs or whatever this, you know, whatever it is. I'm not on there because I'm not single, but I just have heard that people put all kinds of like crazy photos on. And
but it's okay to put up one picture with you and your pet. For some women, seeing a gentleman, if you're interested in dating men, right, it makes them seem more nurturing, more caring. So it could be a good thing. But if you have every single picture of your cat or every single picture of your dog, I don't advise that at all.
Yeah.
I have a question regarding those photos. Why is it that all the guys decide to take a selfie of themselves in the bathroom?
I don't know.
How do you even know that, Jen?
Because I've got single friends who have been on Match and some of the other dating apps. And it's seriously 98% guaranteed photo selfie in a bathroom.
Really?
With a brick wall, even. Weird.
I mean, a lot of men do care about their self-image more so than we think. Women do too, but men, they definitely go through it as well. And I think they think that makes them look more confident, or like, this is me, the day in the life of, look at me in my bathroom. But no, sir, no.
Or with a giant fish. That's another good one.
I've never seen a giant fish in a dating app photo. Wow.
Good. Okay, so let's talk about some of the apps. You know, because there are endless amounts of these things. Tinder. There's one that I think is called Bagel and Coffee, or
Coffee Meets Bagel.
Yes, Coffee Meets Bagel. Yes, and then Raya. Okay, and so how do you help your clients navigate that whole world, and what's your recommendations?
Yeah, so a lot of people that have been on dating apps for a while, they come to me because they're tired of dating apps, and they're like, I don't want to be on dating apps anymore. Then don't. Yeah. Here's the thing. If you want to be on a dating app, know that there's going to be times where you're exhausted. It can be really exhausting because you don't know who is who. You're trying to like literally swipe left and right, hoping that something will catch your eye. Some people have nothing about them. They just want, oh, look at my picture. Are you interested? Yes or no? And the other people have way too much. And you just really want to get to the meat of who they are. So it can be kind of exhausting. So there's a thing called dating app fatigue. If you're feeling like it's becoming too much, take a break from the app. It is okay to take a break. But I always tell people, be your real authentic self, but don't put everything that you don't want on your dating app. Like that just comes off really negative. Like, you can't do this. You have to be this. People just want to know who you are. They want to envision themselves with you. A dating app is a chance for you to connect with people that you probably wouldn't have connected with otherwise. Right. But if you're not being a true reflection of who you are, then you're not giving people a chance to possibly fall in love with who you are. So if you need to take a break, then take a break. I think that at least 4 pictures is a good start. I don't think people should post a lot of group pictures, because I'm telling you, if they see someone else that's more attractive or more appealing than you, they're going to know who they are. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Wait, you're not the one on the left? Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like when you walk in the bar and you call dibs, right?
That part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like it works if you work it, but it takes time. It takes time and consistency. And you really have to just be prepared for it and not get too disheartened, you know, because you might get set up. There might be someone who's pretending to be someone that they're not. That's why I like the new app Filter Off, because it's literally 3 minutes to connect with someone and it's all video.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like speed dating.
Speed dating. Exactly. And then at the end it says, are you interested in getting to know this person more? Yes, no. Or if you get into it and they're
that's gotta be
wow. Yeah. We are so out of this world. So that's actually, I wouldn't mind that, because you're like, I get the real, you know, view of who I guess you have a filter on.
Right there and then. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what though? I mean, I gotta think, that is really, you gotta have thick. We were talking about being in front of the camera earlier, but being in front of the camera and then having someone have the ability to say, no. Thanks, it's gotta be rough.
It's like you're putting out your elevator pitch. Like, let's go.
Oh, exactly. Geez. Here's the thing though. People need to realize with dating, there's going to be highs and lows. That's just the way it is.
But wouldn't you rather than the old school way of getting, like, sitting down at dinner? I know years ago, my friend used to go on dates all the time in New York City, and she would be like, go out for a drink, and she'd be like, oh my God, it was like one after the other. This way, 3 minutes, whatever, then you're like, yeah, no, not interested. So you're not stuck.
Yeah. And they only connect you if it's mutual. So you both have to say, you know what, I'm interested, or sorry.
But back in the day, I remember when it used to be in the newspaper, LA Weekly, and all the weekly papers had the personal ads. And this is obviously back when I was single, there was quite a few times where we really hit it off, writing back and forth in email or smoke signals. I don't remember how we did it back then. And then you would meet them and all that chemistry that you had and that banter was gone. That was always really surprising to me. Like, wow, this guy was so funny and so interesting. And then you meet them and it's a complete flatliner.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Well, and if you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain.
Well, speaking
that's why that whole song exists, right? Personal ads.
I had the experience where I answered a personal ad and the guy sounded great. He loved outdoor sports and jet skiing and, the beach and whatever, right? So I met him. It was a total womp womp. And then about 6 months later, I found another ad and it sounded kind of similar. Beachy kind of guy, fun guy. Go meet him. Same guy.
What are the odds of that?
Oh my God. And he didn't remember me. I'm like, we've met. He's like, yeah. I'm like,
oh, that's so funny. Well,
okay.
I was going to say, I could totally see the services needed again, whether
we need help.
Yeah. Like I could see where somebody's like, cause if you've got 3 minutes, I would want to hire someone like you to be like, all right, get me ready for this. So I am,
so there's one thing I will add though, and I don't know how y'all are going to feel about this, but I'm happy to express it. I also do ghostwriting on apps, which gets kind of tricky. So I will take over the app for a client because they are tired of being catfished, and I get all the questions answered. And then I actually set them on a date. So they know.
I mean, if you've worked with them and you know who they are, you're representing them. So why not? And if the point is they don't have time to do it themselves and they're exhausted from what they've done in the past, that makes sense. Like I'd be like, all right, do it for me. I clearly can't write properly.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like headhunting, if you think about it, in the corporate world, right? You hire someone to vet the candidates and engage with them and figure them out. And then you scale it down to the appropriate ones. I love it. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I love it too. I literally love dating and I love dating apps. And I know people feel different ways about it, but I'm like, if you love it, do it. If you're not sure about it, try it. At least give it 90 days though. Don't have it for a week because you got to give it some time to cycle through everyone who's on the app. People are maybe joining constantly, but if you're going to get on the app, maybe unfavorable opinion, but pay for the app. If you're going to get on it, pay for it. Try it out for 90 days. Just try. Because a lot of people want to do the free version and they're wondering why they're not really connecting with people.
Right.
They're always going to give the better matches, more compatible matches, and you have a better experience when you pay for the app.
The people that are vested. Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to hear the best match and then some funny stories. Cause wait,
hold on. Before we do that, because I'm really fascinated and I know my single girlfriends are going to kick my ass if I don't dial into this. What are those apps? And I mean, honestly, I have been with a girlfriend who is single. She's on N.Y.A, and she's kind of like a B-level celebrity person. And she got pinged with Chris Rock while I was with her. So what are the right apps and what is everyone's obsession with N.Y.A?
So N.Y.A is because it's kind of like an upscale type of app. Like you got to be somebody to get on it. Mm-hmm. That's what the obsession is. But really, I will say this wholeheartedly. There's so many different apps out there. You have to do whatever app works for you. Like for instance, Bumble.
Yeah.
If you like to be the one that kind of initiates conversation, you don't like getting like random men saying, hey, then Bumble might be a good fit because literally you are kind of leading the conversation. The CEO of Bumble created it because she wanted women to have more of a say. So they kind of get to start things off. I do like that aspect, but some people are like, no, I like being approached, right? eHarmony is not a bad one. I do think they could be more diverse in some ways, but it's still eHarmony. They have a household name. So some people are more comfortable with that. Also Match.com, of course, but not everybody is invested into Match.com. There's others that cost less that people might feel more keen to. Coffee Meets Bagel is a great one too, but it's not as popular as the other ones. Tinder is a free-for-all. You can find love there or you can find sex. It's really just anything. And most likely you know someone who knows someone who's on Tinder. So that's another thing. Like it really just depends on what you're looking for. I always encourage people to try 2 apps at least at a time and then just get a feel for it. Weigh out the pros and cons. I like Hinge as well because it focuses a lot on prompts rather than pictures. So you kind of get a feel and taste of someone's personality. And I love that. So again, it just depends on what you like. I don't like to say this is the right app for everyone because people are so different, right?
Yeah.
Is Plenty of Fish still an app that's out there?
Ooh, Lord. So Plenty of Fish, I met an ex on Plenty of Fish. We actually lasted a really long time. That was back in 2009, but now it has been nicknamed Plenty of Felons. Please do not be upset, Plenty of Fish. I did not make that up. This is what's been what's been said about the app, just because everybody can just hop on it. It's not, they don't really screen as much. This was maybe they've improved. I don't know, but I've heard it's been called Plenty of Fish.
What about Christian Singles and what's the other one? Farmers.
Mingle Farmer. Yeah, that's the thing. If you are really into a farmer, or maybe you like the ranch style, then hop on it. Give it 90 days, pay for the app, and see what it presents. If it doesn't yield any fruit, try again or just bye. But you don't know until you try.
Yeah. And hire somebody to help.
And it's a lot cheaper than buying a tractor, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And also there's an app called Real Black Love for Black people that only want to date Black people, but there's also people that aren't Black that hop on the app because they're interested in dating people that are, right? There's an app called Black BLK also. So like, I just feel like people should find whatever appeals to them.
Find theirs.
Yes. And get on it.
Okay. So let's talk horror stories in a second, but talk us through the matchmaking. Like if I sign up with someone like you and enlist your services, what is that process? You talked about you help with the photos and you do all those things. How about the dating process?
Yeah. Okay. So that is the really complicated, but not so complicated part. I try to keep things as simple as possible. So once I match you with someone, if they are in states, then I make all the reservations. You just show up, be yourself, and have a great time, right? If it's long distance, there's Zoom dates that happen. I usually give couples 1 hour and 30 minutes. I've had a couple that I've matched stay on for 4 hours before. It really doesn't matter. That is your time to connect with this person and see where things go. I always encourage people that after like a month of getting to know each other, please hop on a plane if it's long distance and go see them in person and see what the vibe is like physically, right? Because that, as you stated, that could be different when you meet them in person. It just happens that way. I need to give my clients a time to connect genuinely. So I'll tell you like certain things about them to give you an idea, maybe their height, religion, children, a couple of hobbies and things that they enjoy. And I always send pictures. Now, there are some matchmakers that do not send pictures because they want you to trust that they know exactly what you're looking for. And yes, we do have a good idea of what you're looking for, but I'm not a sight unseen matchmaker because I want you to be turned on or at least physically attracted to them in addition to wanting to know who they are on the inside. I want both before you say yes. So that's how I operate things. The process is quite simple. You do have to consent to a background check. Some people aren't comfortable with that. That's okay. We don't have to work with each other. There's other matchmakers that don't always conduct them, but just for my peace of mind, I do run them. Also, you have to give me your results for the love language test. Oh, I know my love language is great. Take the test because it can change over time. Maybe you were dating someone who wasn't very affectionate. Now you realize, you know what? I want my butt slapped sometimes when I'm making food in the kitchen, or I want somebody who's just going to bend me over or kiss me passionately. And maybe your love language is now physical touch, whereas before it was words of affirmation. Maybe like hearing sweet nothings being whispered into your ear was more important to you. Either way it goes, I want to know right now, presently, at this point, what your love languages are. And I love people taking that test now because it breaks it down by percentage. So it gives me an insight on what you need to have in a partner in order to feel loved. So those are the first two things. You got to consent to a background check. You got to send me your love language results. And then we have to have the consultation over Zoom. The reason being is I don't want to just talk to you on the phone. When I ask you a question like, what did your last relationship teach you? I want to see how you react. I want to see your face. Are you healed? Are you still healing? Right? For some people, healing is an ongoing process, and that's okay. But I'm a one-woman show, and I truly want to know what you want, need, and desire. So seeing your face and having that one-on-one conversation with you is everything.
You know, as we said, you know, we're midlifers, right? And if you've been in a long-term relationship, I mean, just the thought of having sex with someone new can probably be very scary, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing though. So there was a debate on Clubhouse. I don't know if you're familiar with this public forum called Clubhouse. It's an app.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I got some backlash for it, but I'm very open and honest. This was my opinion. And this one woman was asking questions about her getting back into the dating scene. There's somebody that she's seeing. and they've been talking and she really likes his vibe and they're going to have a date. And she's like, I just, it's been a while since I've had some and I just feel so close to him. We talk about everything. I trust him, but I don't know if I should have sex on the first date. And I was the only one on the stage of all the dating specialists. I said, if you feel comfortable with him, then go for it. But here's the thing. It is okay to have sex on the first date. In my personal opinion, you just have to be prepared for it to either go wonderfully or horribly. You may never talk to them again. It could be, very well be, a one-night stand, or it could be the start to a beautiful relationship. You're not going to know until you try it. Now, if you're uncomfortable with him and you don't feel sure, don't do it. But if you're like, you know what? It's been a while. I like him. You know, he's appealing to me. He's mentally stimulating me and other things are being stimulated as well. Then go for it. Life is short. Get your rocks off. That's my opinion.
I'm with you. Why not, right? I mean, if you're feeling it, go for it.
Yeah, but just be prepared either way. Because some people are like, oh, I went for it and it wasn't the best. Like, okay, well, you have a decision to make.
Right, you chose.
Hey, dude, there's nothing worse than, you know, you being into someone and then you give them the secret handshake and it's a Crayola crayon. You gotta walk.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, right?
You know, that's another
don't
thing.
act shocked, Jennifer. Come on.
And that's like, I think that people get really ingrained into their head, like, oh, this is wrong and this is right.
Like rules.
Yes.
The rules. Yeah, the rules.
Some rules are meant to be broken. You need to do what you're comfortable with. You just be prepared either way. You have to be prepared. You can't take it as a slap in the face if it doesn't work out or if it's horrible, whatever. At least you tried. And if you decide to wait to the second and third date, it could be glorious then, or it could still be trash. No one knows. You just have to do whatever you feel comfortable with and make sure that the person that you're giving yourself to, you both are on the same page, period.
I have a question. At this midlife stage where we're at, do you find that your clientele and the people that you're matching them with are less interested or not as focused on the physical attributes of a person and are looking more at the whole person? Or is it still pretty much like, she's hot or she's not, or he's hot and he's not?
Yeah. Now, there are some people that are like very surface level, and that's fine. I encourage people to dig deeper. Okay. The most common thing I hear from women, not all women. So if any men are listening to this, this is not all women. Okay. This is not all women. I repeat, this is not all women. But the most common thing I hear are the 3 6s. I want him to be 6 feet tall, have a 6-pack, and make at least 6 figures. And these are women that are usually generally really attractive or have a lot going for themselves.
Okay, I cannot believe you said that. So I was with my boys and they go to TCU, which has a lot of really hot girls. I don't know how they pull it off. It's almost uncanny. But my boys said that is exactly what you said is 100% what girls talk about. And yeah, these are young women. You know, you're talking like early 20s to mid 20s, right? Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Well,
those are high expectations. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. If the girls are saying that, what are the guys saying?
That's the thing. So men are they tend to be really visual creatures. A lot of them, they do base a lot of things on physical. I want someone that works out. My only red flag, and I have no issues telling a man this, if you are not in shape, sir, you don't even have a gym membership. You don't remember the last time you walked up a flight of stairs without huffing and puffing, and you want me to introduce you to a woman that works out and is active, it's a no for me. Now, there are some women that like their men more fluffy or like they're thicker or teddy bear shape. That's what I like to say, teddy bear. Yeah, I don't like to say anyone's fat, just like they're thicker. Yeah, then okay, like I get that. That's her preference. But what people don't understand is that a lot of people want to be matched to like-minded people. So you have to be realistic. And that's the thing. Like you can have all of these things on your preference list, but we have to realize as your type, you have to be their type. And people don't think about that. They're just like, I want this, 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 and this. Okay, but those people have a lot of options. Like the men that are ridiculously good looking and have a lot of money, it's easier for them to get women. It just is, you know, unless he has like a really bad personality. And even sometimes you can still get women, sadly enough. There are assholes that get women easily. Sometimes women like that, like the bad boy thing. I don't know.
Down here in Florida, we see a lot of older gentlemen with the very young women, very young women.
Arm candy. Yeah. Okay, so I've got one. This is for my friend. She is a very successful executive, makes very good money, and is an empty nester. So she doesn't have kids. Her dilemma is she either gets really young puppies that want to be with her or very, very old guys. She is finding it very difficult to find her generation of men because they're dating younger women. Is that a thing?
It is a thing, but it's not impossible. So here's the thing that, and this is across the board. One thing about matchmaking is I can predict compatibility, but we can never predict chemistry, but when it comes to like the mindset, if she's starting to have a negative, oh, all the men I'm meeting are young or they're too old, all the men, there's no one out. I promise you that's going to be the world you live in. Manifestation is key. She needs to keep telling herself, I'm going to meet someone that's in my age group that's going to give me everything I want and desire because I am worthy of love and I am sexy and I'm irresistible and he's out there waiting for me, and keep manifesting that, walk in that energy. Go out to networking groups, go to singles events that cater to people in your age range, and just keep showing up. I promise you'll meet your person, or just hire a matchmaker to do it for you. Either way.
That's right. Hire somebody to help.
Mindset is everything though, because dating can get really difficult for some people, especially if you keep meeting people that don't appeal to you or people that are just wasting your time. Like, you have to be positive.
Yeah, but I would imagine you're bringing that energy into all the other dates, right? So if you're already going in.
Yes, with a negative mindset. Some people just hate dating. Then don't do it until you find a matchmaker, or just go to events specifically for singles and force yourself to network. Get out of your comfort zone and try something different. But you really have to get into the mindset of, this is going to happen for me. I deserve the love that's waiting for me and I'm going to get it, period. And I think that's something that people just, it's like, oh, but it's been so hard. No excuses. Just stop making excuses. You either want it and desire it and will manifest it, or you won't.
Amen to that.
So Chi, you put on your own events to kind of coalesce groups of single, like-minded people. So you invite people to come, and that's where you find both clients and matches, or
yeah.
And I don't like to use the word stable, but that's the only word I can think of. Database of people.
Yeah. So I was telling them earlier that I match everywhere, anywhere, anytime, any place. I'm not shy. There's literally not a shy bone in my body. I literally came out the womb like, I'm ready, world. So there's not a certain place. I do like to go to professional settings because a lot of women, I don't know, like something about a man in a suit who knows how to present himself with nice teeth, and they're usually at networking events. So there's no limits to where I'll go, but I do like to connect people through singles groups or singles events. The only difficult thing, if I'm being completely transparent, is the ratio. Women will always show up to singles events a lot more than men. So I'm actually headhunting men more than I am women. Women find my business and hire me all the time. But what they need to understand when hiring me is I'm a one-woman show. So I want to introduce you to someone that you can see yourself saying I do to, someone that'll make your panties wet and not your eyes. So in doing all of this, you have to be patient and just trust the process. But if you have like, he has to be this, he has to be that, it's going to take you longer because that person, you may not appeal to them. So now I got to find someone that meets everything on your list who's also attracted to you, And then God forbid you have 2 cats or 3 cats and they're allergic, and I got to start all over. Because that's the thing about matchmaking. Like, I meet someone, I'm like, oh, he's such a great fit. And I'm like talking to him. Okay. Yeah. She loves that. Okay. Oh, great. So how do you feel about pets? Oh, I'm like, oh, and I'm just spiraling because he's just like, oh, I can't do it. Did you have someone in mind? Doesn't matter. You can't do it. Because if you're allergic to them or you're just not a pet person, that's another thing. Like, I ask about pets, and if you're a dog person or a cat person, that matters. If you kissed your pet on the mouth, I started asking that because it matters. Does your dog or your cat on the bed with you? That matters to some people. It's just, there's so many nuances to matchmaking. We do so much.
I can imagine because you're dealing with people's personalities, and that is like,
and we become crazy. I mean, we
probably as you're older, right? You become older, you're more set in your ways. Like, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want that. You're like, chill out.
Yeah,
like,
no cats allowed. I mean, like, that would be a hard no for me
some people,
if I met a guy who was a cat guy in the bed. I mean, no, it's not going to ever happen.
Yeah. So people have their preferences, and that's not even talking about politics and children and whether you want them.
Oh my God. Yeah, you have the hardest job in the world.
I think we just identified the smartest, hardest working person on the planet.
I think we have, because trying to navigate through everybody's likes and dislikes.
But
oh my gosh.
I will say this though, if I feel that someone's being a little bit too brash or they need to expand a little bit, I will tell them. I will tell them. For instance, I had one of the toughest clients I had to match was Nation of Islam. I'd never, ever, ever in my life ever matched someone who was Nation of Islam. And she literally came to me and said that she's reached out to different matchmakers and no one was willing to take her. Will I take her? I was like, she's like, she prayed to Allah and I was the calling of the matchmaker.
Did she wear a burqa?
No, she didn't. She didn't.
Well, that's helpful.
Yeah, but she did cover her hair. Yeah, she did wear a head covering, but she was so sweet and so kind. And she literally looked me in the eye during our consultation and was like, "You are my last hope. I'm putting everything in my all into you." And I'm like, okay. And I told her, I was like, it may take me years. And she's like, I don't care. I've been waiting years. So let's do this. So it took me a year and 4 months. And so I found her one match and they're still dating. So
oh, that's great.
She was so patient. Like she checked in with me every 6 months, like, hey, how's it going? I've been praying for you. I'm like, okay, well, keep praying because it's been really difficult.
Yeah. Well, I would think that's probably the other thing is they're putting their trust in you because they're not hey, we're gonna find you a match next week. This is the long game.
It is a long game. And that's the thing. I tell people there are matchmakers that have an agency, right? Where they have like several matchmakers working underneath their hub and they're constantly out there. It is just me. And I'm doing all the screenings, all the background checks, all the social media checks. That matters. Mm-hmm. Just to find you your person. So you have to understand that it's a process. I always tell people, if you're not a patient person for this process, don't hire me. There are a lot of agencies that you can work with because I'm a one-woman show, meaning if you have a date, you're going to be talking to me. If you're having nervous jitters before a date, you're going to be talking to me. If you just had sex, you want to talk about it, it's going to be me. Whatever the case may be, is going to be me. You're not going to have my assistant following up with you. This is my baby. This is our journey. So people either work with that or they love it or they're like, you know what? No, it's not going to work for me. Because other matchmakers might say in 6 months, I guarantee you this. I don't want to guarantee anything. What I will guarantee is I'll do my very best to find you someone that you could see yourself saying I do too. That's it. But as far as time frame, I don't have that. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I found people a match within 2 weeks, sometimes a week, sometimes 48 hours. Other time it's taking me, like this last client, a year and 4 months. But I'm not going to bullshit anyone. I'll tell you that sometimes it takes time depending on your criteria. Some people hear Nation of Islam or Muslim and they're just like, oh no, never. And I have to just start over screening somebody else. And then they have to be attracted to you. And then I got to set up the date. So it's so much that goes into it. It is the most challenging and most difficult, chaotic thing I've ever done in my life, but it's also the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. It gives me so much joy. So much joy.
That's what I want to hear. I want to hear your favorite love match.
So my favorite match.
Yeah. Let's get a good story and then let's get some of the gnarly ones.
Okay. So my favorite match currently, they are both in New York and she is a doctor at a prison. So she's like a psychologist for people that are in prison. And she's like, I make $150,000 a year. He has to make 6 figures. He has to be 6 feet tall. He has to be athletic. And I was like, okay. And the first gentleman I introduced her to was he was really, really tall and really outgoing, but he had just lost his mom. He thought he was ready to date, but he wasn't. So that didn't really work out. He didn't really know how to communicate that. That's okay. So her second match literally met all of her criteria, except he only made 80,000. And so I presented it to her because she was so adamant about that. She was like, he has to. And I was like, okay, I found a great guy. She's like, okay, I'm so excited. Tell me more. So I started telling her about him and everything why I think they'll be such a good fit, how he's active and how they're both passionate. They both want to have the same amount of kids. He's in New York. You don't have to travel that far. And she's like, yes. I was like, but he does make 80,000. And she was like, oh, I was like, yeah. I was like, but I truly believe he can be a really great fit for you. Just give it a try, go on a date, see how things go. And she's like, oh, I don't know. I was like, try it. Trust me. Didn't you hire me for this? She was like, you're right. I did. And I was like, okay. So she went on a date. They've been together ever since. His mom loves her. He just told me, he was like, I'm planning on proposing to her in March or April. And I'm just like, fingers crossed and toes.
Oh, that's great.
Amazing.
So by her getting rid of one of her preferences and being more flexible because he literally met everything else on her list, it worked out. But there's some women that are like, no, if he doesn't have this, this, and this, it's a no for me. And I'm like, okay, well then just keep waiting and I'll keep searching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
And she saw some of those guys that were in the prison and she's like, oh, maybe the money's not so bad. I mean, my friends and I always joke about that. You'll see somebody and I'm like, what's up with the prisoner guy is so hot?
Yeah, no, she's a very, very, very straight and narrow person. She's a Taurus like I am. And I love her because she was so vulnerable during our consultation because she's worked so hard to get to where she is. And she really thought that income was very important to her. And
yeah, I see that.
Yeah. But I'm just so proud of her because Tauruses, we're stubborn. We just are. We're bulls, right? But she stepped outside of that comfort zone and just tried something different. And now it's the best decision of her life. So they've been together for over a year now. And he's like, she's definitely the one. We're thinking about moving in together. And I'm thinking about proposing. And I'm like, please.
Yay.
Yeah.
They're my favorite.
Right. We need some of the horror stories.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna help inspire you. So I did a little homework on this, and I will give you first a real life horror story from a first date.
Okay.
I will not mention her name.
Okay.
They got to talking. She was very excited because he was attractive. I mean, he had everything going on. And so she's like, this is really exciting. And then he asked about her kids. So she has 4 kids. And he said, wow, your vagina must be really large. Date did not end well. Okay, here's some other ones. Now, that's a true story right there.
I believe it. Sadly, I believe it.
I know. I
Okay.
do too.
This actually happened. Okay. One guy showed up as Clark Kent and then had a Superman underneath his outfit. Okay. I actually think that's pretty clever.
Me too.
One first date.
Wait, what? You think that's clever? Like you guys like that?
Go in a phone booth and then come back as Superman?
I mean, if he picks her up and they fly,
I don't know. I think it shows a little bit of creativity.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I do.
Depends on what he looks like.
Maybe
and how much money he makes. Just kidding.
Yeah, if he's got 6 figures, 6 feet, why not?
He's got the 666. I mean, you know.
Okay. One gentleman invited her to dinner at his mother's house. Okay, because he was living with his mom, and that didn't go well. And then it gets even worse because then she said, "Do you want me to leave you guys alone?" Okay. Many dates at funerals and cemeteries. What the fuck is that?
What?
That's a fact, Jack. Yes. There were like 10 or 11. I'm not even kidding you. And finally, I thought these two were the best. One first date, she waited for him in the living room and could hear him straining to take a crap. And the other the other date showed up with a Ziploc baggie full of crack. Okay. I know you don't have good ones like that, but you got to have some funny shit that has gone on.
Not like that. No.
I don't know if you could top that one. I mean, especially because she's screening these. They're not.
So that's the thing. But what I will say is expectations, like certain things that people have asked me for that have been interesting. Like one woman said that I couldn't match her with a man that wore white socks, which was interesting. She was serious. It was not.
My husband is safe from her.
She was just so against it. She's like, it's just, and at first I thought she was joking. I was like, oh, you're so funny. She's like, no, I'm so serious. She's like, are you writing it down? Please put it in my file. And I was like, oh.
Wait, what about when you go to the gym and stuff?
Yeah.
No white socks, any color but white. She cannot do it.
Interesting.
And then one person said that he would only date a woman who is a Marvel fan, so she can't be DC. That was interesting. One guy said that she can smoke as many cigarettes as she wants to, but she can't ever smoke weed, which is different. I usually hear
the opposite. Yeah.
The opposite. But he was really serious. And then what else? Oh, one woman asked if I could like ask how the length of him prior to matching her with him. I told her I have no way of asking a man how large his genitalia.
That's on the questionnaire.
Well,
yeah, like what? And plus he can just lie and I won't ask for proof. So anywho.
That would be a fun twist of your business adventure. Right?
Have one of the questions be about how long are you, sir? No.
Yeah. Okay, well that beckons the question, what would be on your list, ladies?
Oh.
I think they have to be funny. That's
that's a big one for me too.
That a lot. Yeah.
Confidence.
Be confident and funny. And also I really enjoy a man who knows a lot of random facts about things. Like who just say, gosh, I wonder why that is. Well, I read, and they actually know, instead of the answer is, oh, I don't know. Like, well, aren't you curious? Curiosity.
That's a good. So basically you're looking for Cliff Clavin. Yeah, from Cheers. What about you, Michelle? What's on your little
I mean, I'm definitely into like guys that make me laugh. I remember when Jennifer Aniston, when the whole thing happened with Brad Pitt, remember years and years ago, and she was so heartbroken, and she did a movie with Vince Vaughn, and they started dating, and he was like attractive, but like his personality made him super attractive, and I was like, I could see that, like that would be that kind of personality that's just always, he's always like bringing her in for a hug, like he's kind of, you know what I'm saying? He's just funny. He's got that humor to him. That's attractive to me.
Yeah, well, I think that can be more attractive based on the personality, for sure.
Yeah, personality to me is like everything. Obviously, you want to have like a nice smile, and I like nice grooming. I appreciate the grooming.
Yeah, you got to be clean. You don't want like
you got to be clean. Like I don't want to walk in and see
up teeth.
College dorm room like place, but not too clean, because I think they're so concerned when they're that like hyper focused on themselves. I feel like they're probably not people that are, as open. Like they're so focused on the way they look.
It might be a narcissist.
Guys that go to the gym, like the guys that like work out all the time. Like I don't want a six pack. Like, can we get in between a six pack and a dad bod?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely
a little soft in the middle. Like I want to know that he's going to go out for a hot fudge sundae, and not be afraid to sit down and eat a meal.
Yeah.
Because I want to eat the meal, and I
you don't want to feel self-conscious.
I don't want to be like, I'm ordering dessert and he's looking at me like, oh, there's 50 carbs in that. I'd be like, well,
yeah, no, I hate, oh my gosh, that irks me. Like men, they're like, you can't eat that, or don't.
Right.
Okay, so I'll tell you this. I'm very particular about the men that I allow into my database. Very particular. With women, I am, but not as much. Because usually women know everything that they're looking for, and they're kind of more flexible depending. But men tend to be really, not all of them. When they're in my database, they're great. But I'm looking for marriage-minded men that are monogamous. All the right? Marriage-minded and monogamous. And that's the thing. I don't knock any type of situationship that anyone has been in. I myself have been in polyamorous relationships before. Okay. So I know it. I know how it goes. But as for me and what I'm doing, I only want to match marriage-minded people that are monogamous. And there are some men, one of the questions I asked them, are you monogamous? Oh, kind of. Okay. Well, I wish you the best. No, wait. No, you already told me what I need to know. That's why I like asking questions directly.
Are you talking about like swingers or?
Well, that's the thing. Once I match you, whatever you want to do, that's between you and whoever I match you with. Okay, live your life. But I'm saying, like, I want to match people that want to be with one person.
Relationship. Right. Yeah.
A committed, monogamous relationship that leads to marriage. I'm very particular. And you cannot be separated. You have to be legally single, period.
Okay.
So, yes. All right, Lori, what about you? What would you
Well, I mean, I'm going to underscore what both of you guys have said. Is I think humor, because I find humor is a sign of intelligence. You have to be well read. You have to be cultured. We have to be able to have a brilliant conversation over a nice bottle of wine. And then, I'm kind of hoping you're good looking. So when we go back to the casa, there's some fireworks can.
And you whip out your kryptonite.
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah, you're Superman. That was,
But I will have to say they have to be clean too. And like I said before, like cats would be a hard no with a male. Just not going to ever happen.
I think I would. Yeah, I don't know. I
don't care. Some people do.
Okay, well, let's end on this one. And then we're going to go around the horn and give a rule to live by. I'm kind of putting you on the spot there because I didn't pre-warn Allie about this little tradition we've adopted. What about... Does your job more challenging with regards to the landscape of sexuality has in some ways become nebulous, meaning there's a lot of gray area? Does that make it challenging?
So one of my clients is asexual. She's the only client I have that's asexual, and she's open on gender. She really just wants to connect with the person for who they are. So I would say pansexual, right? Whereas you're open to all genders. I don't really give a shit. Again, marriage-minded, looking for something real, entanglement-free. That's another one. I don't want to introduce you to someone just to have someone at 3 a.m. I thought it was you and I. No. Are you currently legally single with no one else who thinks they're in a relationship with you? Those are the type of people I want to work with. I don't care how you identify. What I do care about is if you're going to be open and honest about who you are and what you're looking for. I always tell my clients, you cannot tell me too much. I'd rather have you tell me too much than not tell me enough. I'm trying to match you with someone. So tell me all the things. If you snore, I want to know. If you have a sleep apnea machine, I definitely want to know. If there's limitations that you have, let me know. Like one of my clients, he has MS. When he first hired me, he didn't have MS, but he's a gold client. And so he paid top tier for my services. So I'm going to bat for him. I've joined dating with MS groups on Facebook, looked into it on LinkedIn, just dived into it. It was literally the most depressing thing in my business since I started. I'm trying not to get emotional because, fuck.
I can imagine.
Yeah, because it just sucks. Like I introduced him to two people. The first woman, they hit it off and they were dating and things were going so well. 6 months in, and they were like falling in love, talking about meeting each other's parents and everything. And then he gets his diagnosis. The second match, they were getting along great, but like something about the first match. So he just kept talking to the first woman I introduced him to. The second one kind of went to the wayside. Cool, whatever. And then he opens up about it. It's like, I just found out that I have MS, and she just crumbles. And I'm never going to forget that conversation because she was like, I just can't see myself being a caretaker for my husband. I had to do it for my uncle, had to do it for my grandpa. And I remember the toll it took on me. He's literally perfect for me. You found me my guy. And I feel so selfish. And this just breaks down and starts crying. So I was crying with her and I had to talk to him, and he kept it together, but I know it hurt because they were definitely soulmates. But this sounds selfish to say maybe, but I wish that she still would have tried because it could have been beautiful together. And he had enough money where he could have paid a nurse or maybe if it got that bad. But I also respect her for being open and honest about who she is and what she can handle. But that to this day is the most difficult interaction I've ever had. And it still brings tears to my eyes because they were so cute. If y'all would have seen the energy with them, the magic, the beauty, they're the type of couple that just gives you like goosebumps. But you can't control who gets MS. Some people get cancer, like life can be so unfair. I just want to make your love life easier.
All right. Okay. This was great. And I feel like we asked all the right questions, right? Especially for our midlife lane gals. Yeah. Would you say that? Okay, good.
Because have you ever heard anyone say no fupas? No fupas.
Well, the people that are really fit, they want someone that's fit as well. But sometimes people
add that one to my list.
For midlife people, listen, you can only work with so much. The body.
I know. And fupas happen, but to each their own. I do show full body pictures, so you can detect the fupa if you'd like and see if it works for you. Is that
they got the Spanx on?
Approved or no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's different.
Okay, Chai. Nice question, Jen. Okay.
I gotta prepare.
Where can people find you? I know you've got a great Instagram, but give us the whole lay of the land here.
Yeah. So my website is N.Y.A loveanddating.com. Again, N as in Nancy, Y-A, loveanddating.com. And then I am N.Y.A Love by Chi. That's B-Y-C-H-I on all platforms. So you can find me on N.Y.A Love by Chi, literally across the board. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or X.
Yeah.
And Clubhouse. Yeah.
All right. Right on. Thank you very, very much. This is fantastic. And hey, if I was on the market, I'd be heading your way because you have a really warm sensibility. You're very engaging. And I think I would have a lot of fun working with you on finding Mr. Right.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Right. Or Mrs. Right. You never know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna rule anything out in my old age.
I don't. Life is too short. I want people to experience whatever brings their heart joy.
Yeah.
That's a question. Do you see that a lot where people are changing? Because we live in different times now where people
that's what I was trying to get at. Of people that just sometimes want to be with same sex and sometimes don't.
I have one of my clients that in the beginning, she was bisexual. Well, okay, I don't say she was, but she is bisexual. She was like, you know what? Match me to a great man or woman that meets my criteria. It's challenging for me a little bit because she's 4'11". She is the shortest client I've ever worked with, and we're still working together. But she started off saying that she's open to both. I found her a great guy. And then she was like, you know what? Actually, I really just want that feminine touch in my life. And I'm like, okay. So I had to like switch gears. But that's the thing. I'm really grateful that I have clients that are open with me and have that conversation with me. Like one of my clients started menopause and she's like, I need to change one of the answers to the questions in my file about my sexual desire because right now I don't want to be touched. It's too damn hot. I'm like, oh, okay. She's having hot flashes. Got it. So be yourself, be open and honest, and let me ride this wave with you no matter what comes our way.
Boom. Okay. All right, we're going to go around the horn, and I'm going to give you time, Chi, to think of yours. And if you can't, don't worry about it. We always like to end on a rule to live by. I'm going to start with you, Michelle. What you got?
I knew you were going to do that. Well, I was thinking about this conversation and what we're just talking about. I'm like, I guess the rule to live by would be like stay in shape.
No fupas. Ever, right?
Ever.
Yeah. Okay, Jen, what do you have down there? I mean, not literally down there, but like she's below me.
That was the same.
No, I definitely think that a rule to live by is to stay curious. I think it's so important.
Okay, you got one, Chi?
Yes. So my rule to live by is to be yourself. When you are not yourself, you don't give people the opportunity to fall in love with all of you.
Oh man, how do I top that, you guys?
You can do it.
You can do it. Okay, I'm going to leave the audience with something that we've talked about in the past, and that's about chances. And I think you give everyone a second chance, but beyond that, you really need to think hard about who you're giving your time to. How did I do?
Yeah,
that's good.
Apologies, nothing without change behavior.
You know, tightening that circle in our old lady age is really important. And Chi, you're not there yet, but when you turn 50, it's like falling off the, I don't know, a cliff, maybe? Michelle, you feeling like you're
not yet, but I'm only a week in, so I'll get back to you on that.
All right,
I like
cool.
to call it the great unraveling.
Ooh.
Take it one day at a time and give yourselves grace. Period. Yeah.
Always.
I wish others would give grace too.
A lot of water.
And a lot of water. That was going to be my other one. Drink more water.
Oh, yeah.
I want to change mine.
You want to change yours to drink lots of water?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll give you a twofer.
Okay.
This week. Okay. All right, ladies. Thank you so much for being with us. And Chi, thank you so much for your time. And I'm hoping that I can send a couple ladies your way because I think I've got two in mind that could really benefit from your expertise.
Yeah, send them my way. I'd love to help.
Okay. All right. Until next week, gang. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.